Background images are a common tool web developers use, but they come with many rules of their own. There are several options for adding to the background of your page. We have already learned how to add color, but you can add an image to the background to appear behind other elements. You can do this with the property background image, the value URL, and the file name. You may think of URL as meaning web address, but it means much more than that. You may remember that it stands for Uniform Resource Locator, so we use it to locate many resources. In this case, we are using it to locate our image. We may have an image that we want to tile so that it fills the screen with the multiple copies of the image. For this, we use background repeat. Background repeat has several options. Repeat X will tile your image horizontally across the screen. Repeat Y will tile your image vertically. Just repeat while tile your image until it fills the screen, but notice how the stars on the right are cut off. You can solve this with one of two other options. Round will repeat your background a whole number of times plus resize the image to fit. Here it shrunk the stars a little horizontally to squeeze them in. Space will also repeat your background a whole number of times, but instead of resizing the image, it adds space between them to fill the page. Round and space are supported by all current browsers, but this is only a recent addition to CSS. So users with older versions of some browsers will not see your background repeat with these options. If you are only using one of the background image, it will appear at the top left corner of the element unless you designate otherwise. You do this with the background position. You can use two position markers. The first is the horizontal position, the second is vertical. You can use top, bottom, left, right, and center. You can also use relative and fixed measurements to designate distance from the upper left corner. You can even use negative numbers to move an image beyond the upper left corner. You can also adjust the size of your background image. As you might guess, this is done with background size. Width is first, then height. In addition to standard measurements, you can also use some keywords. Auto will keep the proportions of the image the same as the original. You can set either your height or width and use auto to set the other one to maintain the original proportions. Cover will scale the image to cover the entire element. It may crop the image to fit the space. Contain will try to fill the element, but without cropping the image. This may leave part of the element without the background image. You can use CSS shorthand to put all of this information into one selector. For this property, order does not matter. FYI, you may find several sources online that say you must use a certain order. If you look at a few of those, you will find that all of them have a different so-called required order. The W3C does not specify an order for these. You can also use more than one background image. Put in the URLs with a comma in between. If you use any other properties, you can list the value once to apply it to both. Or you can list two sets of values with a comma in between. The first value will go with the first image and the second with the second. Background images are a fun design element with lots of options.